This Wife Swap UK episode is the most brutal thing I've seen on TV.
You was fucking wrong!
Quick, so he doesn't know. Quick, quick, quick. Make a living you out being a professional victim.
See, she ain't got no proof. Without proof, I can't be found guilty in any court of law.
Hello, you gorgeous donuts. Wife Swap is a show in which two wives from totally contrasting families switch places for 2 weeks to see how they cope. And then after the 2 weeks, they all meet up with each other and basically just take the piss out of each other's family dynamics. It's mental. Honestly, the carnage that this show brings is unmatched. In every single episode of Wife Swap, you're guaranteed some sort of drama. However, in the episode we're going to be covering today, it's the wildest episode of this show that has ever existed. So let's just jump into it. The show begins with us getting introduced to both of the families. First up, we have the Jones family, who are all staring at the camera as if they're at gunpoint.
Meet the Jones family. Karen and Brian have been together for 6 years.
What? Why does the start of every UK TV show that involves a family make them stand at the camera like this? It's so creepy. The Jones family consists of Karen and Brian, who are the parents, and they also live with all of Karen's kids. I do believe they have one child together as well. We then meet the Williams family, where the parents are Sharon and Paul. They've been together for 2 years and they live with all of Sharon's kids, who look absolutely buzzing to be taking part in this show.
Meet the Williams family. Sharon and Paul have been together for 2 years and live in Rochdale with Sharon's kids. 19-year-old James, Leon, who's 14, and 11-year-old Olivia.
Oh god, they're excited for this one. Can hardly contain their excitement. Can you imagine though, like you come home from school or college and your mum tells you that you're going to be taking part in this show? You would be gutted. You just know, like, all over Snapchat or all over like Instagram, your name's going to be talked about. I seen Kyle's mum, right, going and shagging another husband on the telly. Can you believe it? All the neighbours will be talking about it. Oh, you bastard. I'd disown me mother if she did this, to be fair. Also, like, they've only been together for 2 years. Like, I don't know if there is any perfect time period to appear on Wife Swap, but 2 years! That is some trust that these have together. If anyone is in a relationship watching this, do you think you could do this? Like, how many years would you need to be together to be able to be comfortable to swap your wife with someone? Before they do swap, we get like a little bit of background information on each of the families to kind of discover the dynamic, to see how much it'll change with the new wife coming into the fray. It's weird saying wife. I feel like they don't even have a name. And we learn that Brian in the Joneses family is a little bit of a dictator.
I'm in charge because I have a vision. I like to set goals and try to achieve them.
Why is he speaking like a finance bro on TikTok? Yeah, I just try to like manifest my family's goals. Like, what do you mean your family's goals? You pick them up from school at 3 AM, but you get your wife to do it? Is that your goal?
I also think that my wife might be intimidated by the wisdom that I have.
My wife might be intimidated by the wisdom I have. To be fair, that's me when like tipping points on and I'm just answering every single question and I'm looking over at Chloe like... God, she's so intimidated right now. Look at her. Can hardly contain it. I can read her like a book. Jeez, what does that even mean? Why would she be intimidated by your wisdom? Are you just like mint at pub quizzes and it just scares the life out of her? We then learn that Brian has like a military background, and this means that he wants everything done really proper, but he doesn't do it himself. He makes Karen do everything.
The hoovering has to be done in a certain way. All the strokes have to be going the same way.
Karen!
How about you do it? You want it done a certain way, then you do it, right? If my partner was saying, everything needs to be going the same way, I'd be like, does it? Does it fucking really? Go on then, you do it, take the Dyson. I don't have a Dyson, I wish. Not doing that well. Tell your friends about these videos, right then, maybe I can get one. Just the Argos one for me, guys.
Glass, I always ask which one he wants because it could be this one, it could be this one, but you have to cut about that much off the bottom.
Fuck off, man. What? This is outrageous. Why is he treating his wife as if, like, it's a personal butler? Oh, Karen, can you actually cut off the bottom half of the straw? I needed the perfect length. Do you? That's nice of you, Brian.
I've been on her to fold my clothes the same way for the last 5 years, and she has yet to do it. I have to take them and refold them so that I can fit them into my drawer.
Wait, I think, is there something else going on here? I wonder, like, obviously, you know, people from military backgrounds have very high standards because it's been drilled into them, especially if they've been in the, you know, the military for quite a long time. My stepdad was in the RAF, and, like, he has, like, a very particular way of doing things, but he's not nowhere near as intense as this guy. And also, he doesn't make other people do it. It's like, if you want your clothes folded a certain way after they've already been folded, you do it. Why does someone else need to do that for you? That's pure entitlement.
He has no problem with saying exactly what he thinks. Floor's wet. Please don't stand on the floor.
You finally cleaned it, I'm glad.
It's just clear that Brian has, like, no respect for his wife and just treats her like a commodity. Like, she's just there to serve him. It's not like an equal partnership here. This isn't a wife. This is, like, someone that works for him that doesn't get paid. Also, why is, like, Tutankhamun's tomb just, like, there in the living room? What is this in the middle as well? Wait, there's 2 tombs. Are these, like, his victims? The wives that weren't up to scratch? This is terrifying. I feel like this episode's going to take a dark turn halfway through.
There are different methods of punishment which I will use. Give me 25 jumping jacks. Begin.
This is a little bit weird though, isn't it? He treats Karen's kids as if they're like, you know, people under him in the army. Like, this is not the army anymore, sir. These are children who have not signed up to fight for their country. They just want to live in their own home and be relaxed. Like, I guarantee these kids might develop, like, some sort of, like, anxiety or something, because any little tiny thing they do, they're going to be made to do a punishment for it.
I will try to make it painful, that they will remember what they did. Damn!
This guy, this can't be real. This just can't be real. What do you mean you will try and make the punishment painful for the kids so they remember? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Get that butt down, Kingsley.
2 Mississippi.
6.
I just pity the poor sod that, like, tries to rob this house. Can you imagine you try and rob this house and then all the kids are, like, bloody WWE wrestlers? They're all trained in combat. They're trained killers. You'd have an easier time breaking into the UFC.
When you get punished, whose fault is it?
Ours.
Do I stop you exercising when I see tears?
No.
Exactly.
Also, like, Karen, these are your kids. Like, she's clearly scared of Brian. Surely, just for your kids' sake, you put your foot down and be like, you're not doing this to my children. Like, if it was, like, equal and they were both your kids, that would make it harder, I guess. But still, these are your children, not his children, and you're letting him treat them this way? No chance. I know it's easy for me to say that because I'm not emotionally involved in this situation, but just, like, looking from the outset, this is ridiculous.
I think, you know, if you're going to bring children up, do it right. But it's very boot camp around here sometimes.
If you're going to bring children up, you got to torture them. That's just how it works. You've got to get them ready for life. They must be tortured from a young age.
The only thing I want to gain out of Wife Swap is for him to realise I'm not lazy, I'm not useless, I'm not stupid.
Karen!
I'm going to be saying that for a week. That's going to be my new personality trait. Karen! Oh, Karen! I feel like I've really got the vocal tone nailed. I feel like Karen will benefit from this experiment because I feel like Brian definitely takes her for granted and doesn't realise how much she actually does for him. And you're going to see with Sharon, she is a total different personality type to Karen, and I feel like them two are going to clash when they meet. We then learn about Paul and Sharon's family dynamic.
Sharon Williams moved into her boyfriend Paul's house 6 months ago. She and her kids quickly took over the house.
Oh, yeah, look at these lads in the background. They're like, huh? Seen Jamie's house, right? Camera crew going in to film his mum and dad. What are they up to? What are they up to, the dirty bastards? Also, the fact that Paul probably lived alone and now all of these kids are just moved into his house, like, that's such a disruption to, like, how you live your everyday life.
I'm in charge because I've got kids.
It might be Paul's house, but everything has to be done Sharon's way.
He's done the dishwasher wrong, so now I'm repacking it.
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone a little bit, can we, Sharon? You've moved into his house. You can't tell him he does stuff wrong. This is his home. How are people so outrageous that she just moves in and be like, no, actually, I don't agree with all this. The way you do the dishwasher, I don't agree with it. Well, it's your dishwasher. I don't care if it's your dishwasher, Paul. She's just came into his life and went, yeah, by the way, I'm in control of everything now.
And she needs to learn that I'm not a child, that I am a partner.
And then take the toothpaste upstairs.
What? You stop bossing me around, you don't do this anyhow.
Oh, I am so excited to see Sharon meet Brian. That is going to be like Clash of the Titans.
You're trying to control everything.
I don't control everything, I just
You're trying to.
have the last say. That's it, the final say.
Oh, she does my head in. She genuinely does my head in already. Even the language Paul uses, like, he's not saying it's my house, even though, like, you know, it originally was. He's saying it's our house, where Sharon very much just treats it as her house. This is strange.
Sharon's #1 priority is her 3 kids, Olivia, Leon and James.
It comes before anything.
Pause. She just like gives us vibes that she's always on Facebook complaining about her ex-partners. You know, like, oh, what I've just heard about Davey. Honestly, I wouldn't use him to wipe me arse, I wouldn't. You know, every time you open up Facebook, there's always someone like that. You're like, why do you do this? Why do you post this publicly?
Can I have my brew?
2 tea bags in it, 6 sugars. If it's too cold, he sends it back.
I need some more sugar in it.
Sorry. We're only 6 minutes into this episode, and I've never seen so many twats just in one 6-minute period. Is anyone a decent human being in this show? What do you mean he sends it back? It's a cuppa. How wrong can you get a cuppa? He has 6 sugars in it for a start. He's already losing a battle.
Last in the pecking order at home, Paul takes refuge in ballroom.
Also, why does Paul dress like he's some sort of like priest? He looks like he's gonna deliver you some like really bad news. You know, like why does he dress that way? It's just so morbid.
Paul takes refuge in ballroom dancing, but Paul's dancing doesn't do him any favours with the streetwise Williams kids.
Ballroom dancing's for gays.
Well, it's clear that they've got a lot of respect for Paul. How can he be gay if he's shagging your mum? Right? That doesn't compute. I feel so sorry for Paul because it's just clearly just like a total clash of just personalities here.
But the kids' disrespect is starting to become open disobedience.
Leah, put it on a mat, please. No. Sharon, can tell us what it's about.
One thing that is really clear to see, like we heard earlier Sharon say that her kids only listen to her. Like, her kids have no respect for Paul, even though they're living in his house.
If the kid says something, or if I tell Sharon that they've done something, she doesn't want to know. As far as she can see, the kids can't do anything wrong.
This is actually really cruel because Paul, he seems like a bit of a pushover, but he seems like a nice guy. And it seems like this entire family are like using him. Like, they're not even treating him like a human in his own home. This is actually really sad. I feel like Paul and Karen are going to get on a lot better than what Paul and Sharon do. And this is the best thing about Wife Swap. They always get to, like, totally opposing families. This is going to be so good.
Paul's young and he's still learning. Give Paul another year and he'll be fine.
What do you mean? He's the one with the house. What do you mean he's young? You're acting as if, like, he's some sort of child. He's literally got his own home. She constantly, like, undermines him for some reason. I don't know if it's because she might be a little bit insecure herself and she's trying to elevate herself. Oh, wow.
It's the day of the swap and the 2 wives are preparing to leave.
Sharon going into Brian's house is going to be absolute carnage. You can tell just by Sharon's interview on the way to Brian's house how much this is not going to go well.
I hope the husband's not going to be obnoxious and think he can tell me what I can do, because he'll definitely come unstuck.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, love. Nah, you'll be sound. You'll be alright if you come out alive. Sharon and Karen then go on a tour of each other's homes before they meet the family, just to get a gauge of what everything's like.
Small and not very house-proud by the look of the hallway.
Okay. Forgot that you lived at the Ritz, love. Well, your boyfriend gets your kids to do punishment, so we all can't be winners, can we?
So organised, neat and tidy. That could be his wife there.
Well, I'd hope so, love. Otherwise, he's just got loads of photos of a random girl in his house.
Black men are scared of their own colour. That's why they tend to go out with white, blonde bimbos. So I think I've been sent to put him in his place.
Oh, my lord. Both Karen and Sharon have wrote, like, a manual for, like, each other to read to kind of get to grips, like, to see what they're in for. And then both the wives meet their new families for the first time.
I'm Leon.
Hello, Leon.
James.
Hello, James.
I'm Olivia.
Hello, Olivia.
Hey.
I'm Olivia. You're right. Sorry. Do we still have to do this? Are you joking? Can't I just have me mum back? They then make a start on doing their chores, and they're basically having to, like, adapt to how the normal wife acts in that house.
And even though it's Karen's first night in her new home, Paul's going out.
That is an actual dance class you take.
Oh, okay.
I rate that from Paul. He's like, you alright? Right, by the way, you've just got the kids tonight. I'm fucking off. Can't be arsed. Right, see you later. Bye. Got to fucking do all this shit. Oh, you couldn't see that. I was professionally tap dancing, guys. Right, didn't ask for these powers.
Oh, so what do you think to Paul doing dancing?
Men shouldn't dance.
Why not?
Because it's just, like, not right.
Obviously, the kids keep repeating that like Paul's not a man, like men shouldn't dance. They're getting that from their mother. Like, because their mother is constantly undermining Paul, like, they're doing the same thing because they're leading by their mother's example. It's just really harsh to see because I really feel sorry for Paul so far.
Cut the straw off, just like that. And then that can go in there and it fits the glass perfect. Is that okay? Perfect.
Yes, I can tell by the color.
Oh my god, the little bastard man. Actually, the diameter of the straw is kind of narrower than I normally would have it, but I'll drink. Fuck off, man.
What the hell is this? This is an example of a nicely folded shirt.
I don't need you to show me how to fold this. Look.
Come on, fucking, come on. It's brewing. Oh, it's brewing.
I believe that strong will could spill over into stubbornness.
I believe that she is a really strong-willed woman. I will beat that out of her. Don't you worry about that. She will be broken by the end of this. It's now their first morning together as new families, and Brian is already annoyed with Sharon.
I think we've had a breakdown. You're supposed to wake me up, give me a wake-up call in the morning.
Sorry, why don't you just set an alarm, sir? What do you mean you need your wife to wake you up? How old are you? Just set an alarm. Take some, like, initiative. Initiative, we'll go with. This man is like the least independent man I've ever seen. I don't know how he's made it this far in life. And the way he's treating her is just absolutely wild.
I'm shaving right here.
Yes.
Did you remember my location and vacuum in this area?
This is actually cruel because he's probably on his best behaviour right now. Can you imagine what he's like with Karen on like a daily basis? Just do it over the sink. Or do it over the toilet. Or just anywhere, not on the carpet. Like, you have such high standards, like how the carpet's meant to be hoovered when you're doing this. This guy is like an actual twat. Normally in these videos, I don't, like, you know, call people out too much. But this guy... Oh, my blood is boiling right now. I feel like I'm in the centre of the sun's arse. Meanwhile, in the Williams house, Karen is trying to make Leon his perfect cup of tea.
There you go. Have a taste.
Have a bit more sugar in it.
A bit more sugar. Okay.
A bit more sugar. Oh, do you want a bit more sugar, son? Do you? Do you? Well, fucking put it in yourself, will you? God. It's a cup of tea. Just make it yourself, mate. You're 14. I'm getting really angry in this. I think I need to, like, piped out a little bit. Yeah. Can I have some more sugars? How's he gonna call out Paul for doing ballroom dancing when he can't even make his own cup of tea? To be fair, like, just looking at it from his point of view, like, if his mother is constantly being, like, running after him, like, all his life, he's probably just used to this and he doesn't realise that this behaviour is, like, not independent at all. So he's probably not trying to be nasty with it. It's just, like, this is just what he's accustomed to. You can see there's a clear divide in how both of these parents kind of raise their kids. Sharon says that Brian and Karen's kids have basically done, like, a full day's work before they even go to school, with all the cleaning and chores they have to do. Whereas Sharon's kids, there's, like, nothing expected of them. They're allowed to just chill out, just kind of have just a mint time, and get everyone to do everything for them.
They've done a day's work, them girls, before they get to school. They should be able to go and sit and relax and watch telly.
To be fair, I do kind of agree with that. The kids shouldn't have to do all the cleaning, etc. before school. Like, let them just be kids. Like, they've got their entire life to worry about cleaning the house and do that. Can they not just be kids? Especially, they're quite young as well. I do actually agree with a couple of things that Sharon says about the kids in Brian and Karen's household. She says that they're afraid of Brian, like, they're afraid of upsetting him because, obviously, he hands out punishments. And no child should be, like, living in fear in their own home, like, treading on eggshells, because that's just not a way to kind of grow up. You do obviously have to have respect for your parents, because Sharon's kids, like, obviously have no respect for Paul, which is not good. But you should never be in fear of them, because there's a clear line between respect and fear. And I honestly feel like this can really impact kids when they get older and, like, how they develop certain personality traits.
What about the way everything has to be folded and ironed correctly in a certain way?
I feel sorry for Mum because she has to sit there for like hours at night time. We do offer to help her, but she says no.
Oh, that's actually so sad. Like, the kids are trying to help their mum out because their mum's sad that she's got to spend hours folding Brian's clothes. But because Karen's trying to protect her own kids from Brian, she's not letting them, like, be susceptible to getting told off by him. That's actually really, really sad.
They're very in fear of Brian. And it's a shame to be scared of someone in your own home that you live with.
It's weird because Sharon actually is making loads of good points, but she kind of doesn't have a leg to stand on because her kids just don't respect Paul at all. Like, Paul comes home from a full day of work and he can't even get a seat in his own sitting room.
Say, do you mind going upstairs chilling in your bedrooms so I can have a bit of time in here.
Can you go upstairs and play in your room, please, for a bit?
Sit down and I'll sit down now with him. I'll sit at the table or something.
It's just so funny that kid's trying to act hard when, like, he's not happy when he's, like, cup of tea doesn't have enough milk in. It's just clear that they have zero respect for Paul and they don't even treat him like an adult. They just treat him like a bit of, like, poop on the bottom of their shoe. Eventually, one of the kids does move, and when the kids, like, go upstairs to kind of just chill by themselves, Karen confronts Paul about it and basically says, like, you need to stand up for yourself here.
Because at the minute, you are not the man of the house. In no way, shape or form. The children rule the roost.
This must be so weird for Karen because the difference in personality type between Brian and Paul, you couldn't get two more contrasting people. In the other house, Sharon has cooked Brian's tea and then she's cleaning the entire house, and it's just hilarious because Brian comments on her cleaning standards.
She is trying, but the standards are a little bit lower.
If this guy was a character, it would be one of the funniest characters ever. But because it's not, it's terrifying. He was in the mirror going... Sharon! Just quickly, guys, I want to stop this video to say, if you haven't already, please do make sure you press subscribe to the channel. Then you'll be a part of the Donuts, the best community on the internet, our little corner of the internet. We'll want you. 59.8% of you watching this are not subscribed, so let's fix it. Let's get 100%. We can do it.
The fluff brush is here underneath this table.
You're just raising the pile, aren't you?
Yes.
If you want the rug fluffed, then you fucking fluff the rug. No one else in this house wants the rug fluffed. Nobody cares but you. So then you do it. By the way, do you think that these guys like ancient Egypt? It's almost as if they're sponsored by it. Like, every ornament is like an Egyptian thing. It's like I'm at a museum. I bet he loves Night at the Museum too. At this point, Brian is just like treating Sharon like a slave. And Sharon actually says that herself. And again, like, he's probably treating Sharon better than what he's treating Karen. So can you imagine how he treats Karen when the cameras aren't there? Going back to Karen and Paul, Paul finally tries to stand up for himself against Leon. After Leon comes home later than he said he would.
At the moment, while she's in this house, you're under my care while your mum's not here. So, you're not going out tomorrow night.
I do what I want.
You're grounded. It's as simple as that tomorrow night.
This is painful to watch. This is really painful because you can tell by Paul he struggles, you know, being anxious. Like, you can see when he's speaking to Leon, he's like doing this with the, like, grabbing his arm, and that's like you know, when you're anxious, something to just kind of chill you out. You can tell he really struggles, like, laying down the law, and especially, like I've said, this is his house. He should be able to, like, you know, have, like, obtain a certain amount of respect. And I think it's easy to kind of be like, oh, well, why hasn't he done this from the start? But when, you know, the kids are the age they are, they rebel anyway. And when they're not his kids, this is like a really unfortunate circumstance that he kind of finds himself in. I feel like this situation is only going to get worse and worse as the days progress. Let's find out. It's now the next day and Sharon and Brian are falling out even more.
Wrong trousers, about to send my son to school looking like a fucking idiot.
What's wrong with the trousers?
They're short. You can't tell?
I think Brian is a total prat.
I think Brian's just a brat. He says he's got a keen eye for stuff. I think he's just a Paul is also struggling with the authority side of things. Like, apparently this family always go to the ice rink, and when they're leaving, for some reason, Paul is sitting in the back seat of the car.
It was telling me to move up, it was giving me orders, and don't take orders off the children.
We sat there, I said move up so I could get in
I got out of the car so you could get in the car.
Why are you in the back seat? You're the adult, sir. Why are you sitting in the back fucking seat? Not only the back seat, he's getting bullied into having the middle back seat. Everyone knows that's the worst seat. Sir, as an adult, why are you not calling shotgun? That should be the top of your priorities. You've got to take some control, come on. I do feel sorry for him because it's just not in his personality to, like, he doesn't deal with confrontation well. He'd rather just, like, kind of avoid it and just do what the other person wants. But he just has no respect for himself. There's just such a contrast here because back in the other house, Sharon and the kids are just eating their tea and Brian returns home from work early, and you can see by the kids' reaction and Sharon's reaction, they're petrified of him.
Brian's back early from work.
Quick, so he doesn't know. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, wait.
Like, this is Sharon running around being frightened, and she's only spent a couple of days with them. Like, this should not be a family dynamic behind closed doors. You should not be in fear when the dad comes back. If you're running around like this, something is wrong. And what comes next is actually scary because Brian just unleashes his rage.
Is this what you do at home? I mean, leave the floor wet and stuff?
They're wet on the floor there. The children don't come over the line.
Isn't that what I just said?
You walked over. Listen to me. Watch. You walked over.
Yourself.
I wonder if this guy struggles, you know, with certain conditions, because this is not a way that a normal person would act. There was like a tiny bit of wetness on the floor and he just goes like hell about it. Like, why do things trigger him so easily?
These children don't cross the line without telling me.
Can you go over there right now? Because the stove is off, right? Yeah. So therefore, the children have enough fucking sense to tell that the stove is off.
But it's not.
But you was fucking wrong.
Hi, is that 999? I love that he has rules in place, such as like the kids can't like walk like near the oven when it's on, but he'll gladly just abuse like the mother in the house. Like, you know, obviously everyone's got their own standards.
Please, hang on a minute, please.
If the floor has water on it.
Why are you shouting at the child? The child's done nothing here. You're screaming in the child's face as if it's her fault.
Just shut the fuck up, alright?
No, I'm not one of your children.
No, you don't have to be one of my motherfucking children.
This is getting uncomfortable now. This is one of the most outrageous scenes I've seen in a TV show that we've covered. I'm surprised at this point. Like, if this was filmed today, the producers would have stepped in and the filming would have stopped. There's no chance that this sort of footage could air today because it's actually frightening. Like, the fact that Sharon is keeping her cool and isn't afraid. Obviously, she shouldn't feel afraid, but a lot of people would be like, "Oh God, I can't continue with the filming here."
I asked her a yes or no question. She could have answered it. Well, no, I didn't realize the floor was wet. But no, she had to go the long way around, and then that's what happens.
Wait, so basically, when somebody doesn't instantly back down to you, that gives you a right to like scream at them. She just questioned what you said. Like, that's a normal thing in a relationship. You should be able to question each other, and like you should be able to have like healthy like conversations, like hard conversations. You shouldn't create an environment where nobody can talk back to you, because that's a dictatorship. That's not a relationship. Now, up until this point in the show, both Karen and Sharon have kind of had to adapt to how the family would normally live, like before they arrived. However, today is rule change day, where the families have to adapt to their rules, and Sharon and Karen get to implement how they want the entire family to act, so this is going to cause absolute carnage in both households. One tiny thing that I find interesting as well is when Karen is laying down the rules to Brian and the kids, Brian, like, the only child he's holding close is his own, which obviously, like, you know, that's his child, and the other ones biologically aren't his children. But I feel like this, like, still image kind of speaks like 1,000 words about how he punishes the other kids a bit more harsher. I'm from one of these type of families, you know, where it's not like, you know, the perfect nuclear family, but like my stepdad never treated me any different to how he treats his kids, and I feel like that's how it should be, because them three kids are always gonna kind of feel a little bit like outsiders and always gonna feel like they're treading on eggshells. It's really sad, honestly. One of the funniest things about the rule changes is Sharon's actual kids are getting made to go to one of Paul's ballroom dance classes, which is just so perfect after what they said about him.
So we all are going ballroom dancing with Paul.
No, we're not.
Again.
To be fair, I'd probably have the same reaction when I was their age. I'd be like, "Nah, me fucking doing all this shit. Nah, not on my watch. What's that gonna do to me reputation in the streets? I'll be finished." To be fair, I used to play with wrestling figures at the age of 14, so I didn't really have the best reputation to begin with. Me and the great Collie had some great times together, guys, I'm just saying. Not like that. That sounds horrific. Not like that. He did have big hands, though. One thing I'm loving to see is how Brian reacts when he's getting told to do the stuff that he normally tells Karen or Sharon to do.
Brian?
Yes?
Can you please take that plate away? It's had enough, and throw that in the bin.
Okay, is there anything else? Because I'm a fucking house slave, okay? And I'm not gonna be Brian, and that's it.
Well, if there's anything else, I'll call you.
No, you ain't gonna call me right away.
It's so funny because in the intro tapes we saw him like scream Karen's name like 5 times in 5 minutes, and then when the shoe's on the other foot, he doesn't like it. Bastard. Meanwhile, Paul is giving it his best shot to try and demand some respect from Sharon's kids.
One away, please, for at the table. Thank you.
Olivia, please.
Watch his face here when he gets like access denied.
Thank you.
Olivia.
He's like, Olivia, give us your phone. Oh, well, didn't want it anyway. Right. Embarrassing. Wasn't trying to take it. I was just stretching, so... Oh.
Sit down, please, Leon. Leon, can you please sit down?
Look at the way he tucks him in, man. That Leon thinks he's hard as fuck, doesn't he? Go and make a cup of tea, Leon. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you can't. That's Leon's kryptonite. It's the only way to defeat him. Make him make a cup of tea. It's just so funny seeing how the two families act when they're put under new rules. Like, Brian is literally losing his mind.
By the time the children start playing basketball in the lounge, Brian's had enough.
Hey, don't lose track of reality now.
Don't lose track of reality. They're just playing in the living room. They're hardly living in a fantasy land here. He's acting like they're committing like a purge or something.
Can you please assume the squat position for me, please?
No, because I did not break one of the rules.
Can you not do the squat?
Hey, I can do it, baby.
Come on, you do.
I'm not getting disciplined because I didn't do anything
you need
wrong.
To do
Well, you just did the squat. You just did it. So you said you didn't need you, but you still did it. So unlucky. 1-0 Sharon. I'm not Sharon's biggest fan because of the way she treats Paul, but I love what she's doing to Brian. It's so satisfying to see Brian get kind of put in his place a little bit. Meanwhile, Paul has put like a padlock on the sweet drawer in his house to stop the kids from stealing stuff. And the kids managed to easily get it off, and he just can't do anything about it.
Put my hand in there and you'll be sorry. Get off. You've been robbed. Got a chocolate?
Yeah, I did.
This is honestly one of the best shows I've ever seen. Did you see the way he was trying to open the door? He's literally like a child. Oh, this is too good. Paul then actually used common sense for once, and he took all of the sweets out of the house and locked them in his car. This episode's only gonna get crazy as it progresses. It's now the second day of the new rule changes, and Brian has already broke another rule by smoking in the bathroom.
Brian?
Yes?
If a rule is broken, you feel as though the person should be punished if they've directly broken a rule?
If they have directly broken a rule, yes.
Right, well,
I'll go with that.
You have directly...
Sorry, Brian, just a yes, that's all we need, right? Yes or no, right? We don't need you to elaborate, because obviously you don't like people elaborating, so we just stick to that. Thank you, Brian.
You smoked in the bathroom.
Prove it.
The butt was down the toilet. I've just been in the toilet.
You were literally on camera.
I'll tell you what, we will take our asses outside and we will open up that damn septic tank or whatever.
He's been caught smoking on camera. He's confronted about smoking on camera, and then he lies and gets angry about it. It's like, bro, just admit it. It's fine. I think it's because he has such a huge ego that he almost can't be told what to do at all, because he fears that it makes him like less of a man, I guess. I don't know how Karen is has had a child with this man. How has anyone ever been with this bloke?
You're lying. You're lying. No.
You will be punished.
No. Say she ain't got no proof. Without proof, I can't be found guilty in any court of law.
Why is he acting like this? It's literally like we're watching a character here. If she can't produce the footage, then she can prove it in any court of law. Like what? We're not trying to prove anything here. Just say that you smoked in the bathroom. Are you really that scared to admit it? He's acting like he's still in the army or something, as if he's like undercover. At this point, I'm like, surely the show can't get any like crazier. Well, that is where I'm very wrong. Sharon's actual kids take Paul out on a day trip to like get a new trim and get new clothes like them. Oh, mate.
I like it, mate. That's alright.
This has got to be a humiliation ritual, surely. To be fair, right, I don't want to laugh at him too much, because I feel like he's really getting pushed out of his comfort zone here, and he's doing it as a way to connect with the kids. Like, I actually really rate this, because he's kind of coming to their level in terms of not trying to act better than them, not trying to like tell them what to do. He's just trying to connect with them, and hopefully this is like a different method of him trying to gain their respect, basically. I actually rate this method highly. Hopefully the kids will realise he's just a normal bloke. He's literally just like them, but older, and they will start treating him like an actual human being rather than someone that's just getting in the way all the time. And we actually see this kind of comes to fruition, because they actually start to do their chores in the house after Paul tells them to. It's interesting as well, because after seeing the effect that Karen has had on this family in like getting them more connected, she actually like evaluates her own relationship with Brian, because Brian constantly tells her she's like a bad mother, she has terrible parenting skills, she's lazy, and she's realised that actually clearly, you know, the stuff that she's put in place for Paul has worked, and clearly she's raising her own kids how she wants to raise them. And it's clear to see that Brian has no real kind of influence on the kids in a positive way, like it's all Karen. I think the more and more time she spends away from Brian, she's realising how underappreciated she is in that relationship. Meanwhile, Brian and Sharon are just clashing even more. He thought he was cold with her, like, he thought he was like Cole Palmer, just like fucking giving it one of them. The fact he opens the door and does it in her face, that's like an intimidation tactic. That's like, I do what I want to do. I don't care about your fucking rules.
You can't follow one simple rule.
I just think he's a dick. First class dick.
Paul and Karen then take the kids to Paul's ballroom dancing classes, and they actually have like a really good time, and they're building a much better relationship than they had before Karen arrived. And one thing I am a little bit worried for is when Sharon returns, because Sharon is used to like undermining Paul, and I just hope that the kids don't kind of like follow suit and start being nasty to him again. I just think this episode has exposed Brian so much for like how much of a lack of parenting skills he actually has. He just enforces all of his army training into how he raises children, which they're like totally contrasting things. He's struggling so much with the rule changes that he's actually tried to recruit the children into turning against Sharon.
I mean, do you like living in filth?
No.
Disarray?
No.
He's trying to start a rebellion. Oh, I actually feel so sorry for these kids, because they said to Sharon that they prefer it with her here. But when confronted by Brian, they're just going to agree with him because they don't want to get told off, or they don't want to get made to do like jumping stars. I kind of want Karen to stay with Paul because they're actually getting on really well now. Leon at the start of the episode was coming home like really late and later than he said he would. He actually came home earlier than he said he would today.
Hello.
Hello, you.
Hello.
It just shows that they can actually show Paul respect when the mother of the house shows him respect also. Back in Brian's house, Sharon hands him an ultimatum basically saying, like, I'm going to leave if you don't follow me rules.
If you follow the house rules, or I'm going to have to leave, because I can't, it's pointless me being here.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, then that's all.
But how will Karen feel when she sees that you've failed, that you've not kept your end of the bargain?
This is exactly what he wants. He's trying to, like, drive her out of the house. Also, what do you mean she knows nothing about? You do realise that you're, like, filmed on national television, right? And all of this footage is going to be live to the nation and everyone's going to watch it. Because of Brian's response, Sharon actually leaves the experiment a day earlier than, like, they were meant to leave. Which means Karen also has to leave Sharon's house a day early.
I'm really gonna miss you.
Thank you for everything.
I'm gonna miss you so much.
I'm gonna miss you so much.
Oh, mate. This makes us want to cry. Like, they're so thankful to her for standing up to somebody that intimidates them so much. Like, they've only known each other for less than 2 weeks and have this sort of connection. Like, they clearly are really, really connected with each other. Oh, this is sad. I really hope that Brian and Karen aren't together today. I realise that sounds kind of brutal, but he's scaring our kids.
Bit nervous about what's going to happen or what's been happening at home. How Brian's going to react to me.
Leave, love. If you're nervous to go back home, that's a sign that you need to leave. You're going to be doing star jumps all weekend, man. The couples then reunite, and instantly you kind of just see how maybe they're just going to fall back into their old habits.
Your hair wants cutting. Hiya. Your hair wants cutting and you need a shave and you look like a tramp.
That's the first thing you say to him after, like, not seeing him and having no contact for 2 weeks. Like, can you not just say, I love you, I missed you? Like, instantly she's, like, picking at him. It's doing me head in. I want Sharon and Brian just to go. Just go. Before they actually go home to meet their kids, again, they all sit down at a table together and basically talk about their experiences. And after watching them talk, I've realised the only person that I like in this entire episode is Karen. She's the only person that stands up for Paul because Paul won't stand up for himself. She changed the entire dynamic in that household to be more of a positive one. She's also started standing up to Brian and saying, I'm not standing for your bullshit anymore, and you're not going to treat me kids the way that you treat them. She's gained the most out of this experiment, whereas everyone else seems to kind of just stayed the same. Even Paul, like, Paul just sits there and just takes all of this crap from Sharon.
It's your way or no way. You don't want to discuss anything. You start shouting and raising your voice.
Make a living you are being a professional victim.
See there, like, she's just undermined him and not his feelings just aren't valid. They've just been swept under the rug. So why would he bring up how he feels ever to her? Because this is the way it gets treated. Like, he's unfortunately, the only way that Paul's going to be happy is if he splits up with Sharon, because she just doesn't see things from his point of view, unfortunately. And Brian, don't even get us started on Brian. He just can't take any criticism at all, even now.
Brian, can I just interrupt on this? Brian?
No, everybody's interrupting me, but I'll let everybody else speak.
And nobody haven't let me.
I am so happy this is the last time I'm ever going to see this man's face. I just can't stand him. The only person that took any accountability here in this entire conversation was Karen. And I actually believe when she goes home, she's going to start standing up for herself and for her kids. You can even just see in this image, like, she has finally realised what she's been putting up with, and she knows that she's worth more than that. The parents then return home to see their kids, and then the show gives you an update on how the families are doing a few weeks later, and what we find is shocking.
I've now took over being in charge of the children. I'm the one who dishes out the discipline. No, I don't like bubbles laying around.
Get in, Karen! Fucking there we go. I used to pray for times like this, Karen. No more jumping jacks for the kids.
She's just taking charge, and it's good.
I think Brian does like the new me. Yeah, he's enjoying it.
Do you know what? Like, hopefully this experiment has helped Brian realise that actually Karen's not that bad. She's actually a really, really good partner.
For Sharon, the change has been even more radical.
I left Paul and I've just moved on, and this is where I'm living now, because it just wasn't right.
You left Paul! Thank you! There is a God and heaven exists! Thank you! Thank you! Oh, I love that she's still saying Paul's in the wrong. I'm so happy for you, Paul. If you're out there watching this, Paul, just know I was rooting for you.
Paul was in the wrong for the way he wanted to be with my children. Paul just didn't have a clue.
What, so Paul just wanted a little bit of respect from your kids living in his house, and you didn't like that? You wanted your kids to be able to walk all over him like you do. Okay, love. That's a great way to live your life. I'm sure you'll find a partner who will love that. I'm sure of it. What man wouldn't? And after that, the episode does in fact finish. This was one of the craziest shows we've done. If you want me to do another wife swap episode because I enjoyed this so much, 5,000 likes on this video and we'll do it. And if you want to see me break down another wild reality TV show, click this video right here or watch a brand new video on my new Reacts channel right here.